right. So as we go through the class, I think that we are aware that one of the reason why we need to study organizational behavior because to understand people better, and then why we need to understand people better because one of the reason is because to handle conflict at workplace better. Okay. We would like to work in harmony. We don't want conflict will happen, but we don't want it to linger around in workplace because too many conflict it can lead to low work performance, and then after that you will have low team engagement. It will drain the employees' morale and so on. Okay, so the learning objective of this topic is to describe the three types of conflict and then the trilogy of conflict. Then we are going to take a look at the conflict process. We are going to take a look at a little bit about bargaining ataupun some kind of like negotiation. Okay, how individual differences influence negotiation, and then we are also going to learn about the third party negotiation. Let's say if we are the party who involved in conflict, the conflicting parties, and that it don't go anywhere. Okay, so we have to use the third party to solve the problem, okay, to solve the conflict. All right. So basically, what is conflict? Okay, conflict can happen anywhere, including in your workplace as well. So conflict is actually a process that begins when one party perceives that another party have negatively affected. So the keyword here is negatively affected. So if you feel that you are in not in favor of any situation or anything, so there might be a conflict happen. Okay, something that the first party cares about, something that you cares about. So in workplace, as we know that we have our own job, we have our own roles, and then we have our own tasks. Let's say if we care about this, right? We care about what we do. We care about voicing out our opinions and so on. So let's say if suddenly you feel like there are some like negative effect towards you. So there might be conflict is about to happen. So if no one is aware of a conflict, then it is generally agreed no conflict existed. But there are if throughout this course later, throughout this topic, we are going to see some of the characteristic why sometimes we feel like no, there is no conflict anywhere. I don't feel anything, or I don't feel like I'm in disagreement or conflict. Okay, maybe because you are someone that is an avoidant, means that you refuse to engage one, so you tend to see like no, there is no conflict anywhere. Okay, and then also needed to begin the conflict process are opposition or incompatibility and interaction. Okay, so when we have a conflict at the workplace, not every conflict is bad. Okay, not conflict is bad. It can be a functional one. Okay, a functional conflict where this conflict is actually give advantage ataupun benefit. Okay, this one is a functional one. But if the conflict is draining all the employees' morale, and then it keeps on happening. For example, it keeps on happening, and then between you and your colleague, between you and your superiors, subordinates, can't agree. Okay, can't reach an agreement. Ataupun it can be like a destructive, team in your team, in your group. So that one will be dysfunctional. Okay, so let me hold on for a second. Okay. So, like I've mentioned to you just now, that conflict can have an advantage ataupun a benefit. Okay, so let's take a look at the advantages and benefits of conflict. So this one is the advantage. Okay, with advantages, then it can serve as a benefit lah to the company for a conflict. All right. So the first one, when we have conflict, we can aware of what are the problems. Okay, aware of problem in our workplace. We nampak tak I dah share screen here. So we can be aware of the problem that happen in our workplace without conflict. Okay, but this is how to become a functional one. Okay, so this is a functional conflict. So let's say if we have a conflict, how to turn it into advantage ataupun turn it into benefit, because if there is conflict means that we are aware of a problem. There is something that we need to settle in. Okay, there is an agreement. There is a disagreement. So we have to take a look at it. Okay, maybe this disagreement comes from a problem, maybe a root problem. Okay, later we are going to take a look at the root cause of conflict and so on. So when we aware of the problem, the benefit is we can, okay, during the conflict, we can verbalize what our needs, right? Because we have problems, so now we have to find a solution. In order for us to find a solution, we have to tell, okay, we have to tell that, okay, I need this, I need that, I need you to understand this. This is my perception, this is my understanding. Okay, maybe the problem is just um, it's just that misunderstanding. Okay, the cause of conflict is just misunderstanding. So your maybe poor communication, that is the problem in the workplace, right? So you can, the benefit is we can verbalize need, we can tell others what we uh, perceive something, ataupun maybe you don't know that, oh, I have problem. Okay, the awareness of the problem, actually you are the one ataupun we are the one that contributes to the problem. Maybe we are so hard to deal with, maybe we are too defensive, ataupun maybe we think that we are the most senior here, we have been here in the workplace for so long, we understood better how it works, or we don't want to hear new ideas because it's been too long practicing the same thing, so that when a new generation comes in and then they have a better technology to do it, a fast way to complete the task and so on, but we refuse to listen. All right, so yeah. And then the second one is like I've mentioned now, okay, this one is to identify solution. So daripada we know that the problem, and then we know, okay, so this is what we need. Okay, this is what you want. This is what I want. This is what the group needs, and so on. So let's try to find a solution. So based on the conflict that happened, we can help to identify solution. So I would like to say again, this might not be applicable for every conflict. Like what kejap, like we have seen just now, we have a dysfunctional one. Okay, dysfunctional one, it's very difficult. Okay, it's very difficult to to solve it ataupun to overcome it. So maybe we need like a third party to set some standards, rules and regulation. Okay, so to handle with this form of conflict, maybe we need to have a certain rule, standards, a certain limitation, and so on. Okay, so identify solution. So what are the benefit? So it actually gives way to all the ideas. Okay, so in the workplace, there will be a lot of ideas. People will give their ideas because solutions, right? So you tell me what you think about it. You tell me what's your idea, how to move forward. and so on. Alright, sekejap iklan. So, Nur, siapa tadi nama? Okay.
Noratika, you can call me Mel.
No, no. Rose Azizul Darus, please use your Uniraza email. You are using your um, personal email. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Okay, next is after we have, one of the advantage as well is maybe, okay, like I've mentioned just now, right? We have aware of the problem. So maybe it can lead to improvement of anything, okay? Improvement of the system ataupun improvement of your process. Maybe it can be in terms of your product and service lah, tapi yang ni not bukan organization behavior, tapi tak apa, okay, product or service. Okay, this one is the development of new product lah. So when we have conflict, maybe some of the system it works before but it doesn't work now, and then maybe like one of the things that I can see in this class, if I think that you guys notice as well, okay, improvement of system, I do it manually because we have an automatic system, right? Kita dah ada system untuk buat automatically everything, and then it will be faster. Generation baru ni kan dia kena cepat. So kita dah ada system, and then maybe we want to have a better system. We have a better process. It might work before, but now we have a new solution ataupun new process that makes to increase productivity ke apa ke kan. So why not if we identify that if we have like a disagreement ataupun we voice out something, and then this disagreement can lead to an improvement provided by if everybody listen to the problem lah, okay, try to become a functional team. Right, and then the benefit is maybe we can give a little bit like flexibility kan, macam I cakap tadi, when we are in a workplace sometimes we are too, because we have been working, we know how the way that we work. Maybe there are some times that you've heard people will say that, okay, I know what I'm doing, something like that. And so if we practice that kind of behavior, maybe it will not be as, it doesn't show that you are flexible to change, because working in an organization, we have to adapt to changes, okay, even we have one topic, okay, organizational change. So you cannot run from change, you cannot stay at your apa orang panggil tu, at your workstation, and then hoping that, okay, what we practiced 20 years ago will be the practice again for the next 20 years. Okay, maybe sometimes we need we have new technology coming in, we have new generation coming in, we have new environment, new culture, and then a lot of new findings to improve work performance and so on. So we have to be flexible. Okay, maybe before this, let's say for elder generation, I'm not just talking about elder generation. Okay, the newest pun sama. You have to be flexible. You have to understand that yes, you were born in an era of technology, but you have to remember that most of the working environment is actually filled up by elder generation. So you menang dekat new knowledge, technical skill, right? But maybe elder generation, they win at conceptual skill. And lagi-lagi interpersonal skill memang they have excel. Okay, we younger generation, we are lacking in terms of interpersonal skill. So we have to be flexible. We have to learn from each other. Okay, so this is the benefit. So what I want to say, pesanan khidmat masyarakat. Okay, if you encounter conflict dekat workplace, again I ulang, only functional one. If this functional, I didn't force you to solve it, okay, to find the advantage, to find the benefit of it. I'm saying for a functional one, and then maybe sometimes we have to educate others as well, right? Be flexible, get to know each other. The next time you see conflict, maybe you can see that, oh, actually, there are benefits. Okay, there are advantages that we can learn from this. That it will not be apa orang panggil tu, happen in the future, and then we can learn to solve it much better. Okay, and then macam saya cakap tadi kan, okay, so clarify off limits. Yang ni for this functional one. Okay, for clarify the limit of limits, this one can be applicable for a dysfunctional conflict. So let's say if you find out that dysfunctional conflict, everything happens when you raise out in a meeting, for example, in a meeting, baru raise out sikit je kan, baru nak cakap, bos, saya rasa, oh dia terus, no, I don't listen to people, people listen to me. So this one is, okay, so now you know, okay, now you know that some people comes with a certain personality, behavior, and then emotion and so on, right? So you know already now. So you know your limits. Okay, you know your how to approach. You know until what extent that you can see this conflict can be resolved. And some conflict is just dysfunctional. Memang tak boleh nak ubah. Okay, hanya Tuhan saja yang mampu mengubah dia. So you dah tahu dah the clarify of limits. So here is the benefit is how to set your own standards pun boleh kan, standard. Kenapa kita nak engage dengan orang yang like for example very narcissistic one, right? So in a workplace if dia saja yang betul ke apa ke, it's okay. I mean we don't feel hate. We don't hate that person, but we just set our limits. We just help to set standards. Maksudnya after this, if you have let's say okay, I think in my sector ataupun in my industry is a little bit flexible ataupun apa nak cakap lain sikit, because in education most of the time we can choose who to work with. Let's say if we have any event ataupun any activity, any project, so we can build our own team. But maybe in a certain industry, you tak ada choice tu. Okay, you don't have the choice to choose your team members because everyone is, semua orang ada jawatan masing-masing, right? So maybe you have to work with him or her. But again, help to set standards means that if you know that this person is defensive, this person is memang cannot tolerate. So instead of arguing, okay, you know right, you know better what you have learned from experience dealing with this person. So just focus on your own performance lah, okay? And then macam yang I cakap tadi, in terms of dysfunctional one, you have to include maybe if you can like third party. Okay, we like later kita akan tengok what who are the third parties lah. Okay, and lastly, okay, this one sounds so cheesy, but yes, macam mana nak add? Okay, how to add? Okay, another thing is I letak kat bawah ni je lah. I don't know how to add the table over here. Tiba-tiba jadi blur pula kan. Okay. So another thing is you can understand ataupun you can discover differences in people. Okay, in people. Conflict make you realize that not everyone is like us. It's very difficult. Okay, so yeah, it's a very, when you understand people that people just react differently. Alright, why people? Okay, come on, engage with me. Kat sini ada chat box, right? Okay, so why do you think that people? What makes people act differently? Kat sini ada chat box. Just write down your answer lah. What's your opinion about it? Okay. So why do you think that people act differently, react differently, based from what are the cause, what are the triggers, and then yeah, what are the contributing factors that lead people to act differently. Okay, maybe even though in the same family, same DNA pun people different, right? Anak satu, anak dua, anak tiga act differently. So apatah lagi people from different countries, different race, different upbringing, and so on, right? So yeah, and not everyone think like us. Not everybody have the same knowledge, have the same resilience ataupun vulnerability like us. So when we discover differences and people, what benefit that we can take is we can have ataupun we can develop apa yang kita belajar last week is EI. Okay, develop ataupun enhance you punya, develop and enhance EI. Okay, emotional intelligence. This is the way that you will understand yourself better. And then when you encounter different kind of people, you realize that, oh, this one, um, don't focus on the message ataupun don't focus on the sender. Alright, just focus on the thing that it can be improve ataupun that can be workable lah dekat dalam your workplace. Okay, so let me just, if you can take a look at the chat box. So thank you so much everybody for engaging early in the morning here. Different interests and benefit, exactly, okay, in terms of traits, in terms of demographic profile, their age. Some people have attitude problem, okay, like laziness, yes, right? Maybe because they have that kind of attitude and then they haven't discovered yet. They need to improve it. Okay, maybe they don't have a wake up call that I'm lazy. Okay, it happens, even though that, like I've mentioned just now, right? I'm working in the industry that might be slightly different than you. But I do encounter some of these people. Okay, ada juga lecturer yang lazy kan. Tak ada like semua yang perfect. Sometimes I'm lazy as well. But make sure lazy yang tak menyusahkan orang lah, okay? Yes, in terms of seniority, in terms of the understanding, different understanding, background, culture, in terms of education, the thinking style, upbringing, experience. Yeah, in terms of mental state as well. Maybe some people, they I've read somewhere that sometimes we think, okay, this is another pesanan khidmat masyarakat. So sometimes we think that kenapa why you have to be so upset about it? Why you have to feel so down ataupun feel so emotional about it? Okay, so some people, they don't have the same mental capacity like everybody, right? The way that I forgot that word, okay, where they take words ataupun a one word ataupun one sentence can change the whole mood. Okay, I know that this is not a ticket for you to become dysfunctional at workplace, of course no, but once you know that, oh, I have this problem, so you have to get help, right? You have to get help. If you notice that you are not in the right mental state ataupun good mental state, then you have to find seek help. Okay, it's either go for professional help ataupun you can do your own meditation and then do a lot of things that can help to improve your life, improve your mental health, and so on. Okay, but again, I think going to professional is recommended lah. Okay, because they know what to do. Okay, they know what to say to you, compared to if you go to your friends and family for advice. Maybe they are not the right person. They can be a support group, but maybe not to solve your problem and so on. Okay, yes, in terms of culture, personality, very good. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, the trigger points, thinking level, culture. Okay, exactly. Right. So these are some of the advantage ataupun benefit of conflict that we can just apa orang panggil tu and to open our eye that some conflict can become advantage. Some bukan semua. Alright. Okay. So according to research, this is when we try to find the relationship between conflict and performance. So you can see like we have three situations over here. We have situation A, we have situation B and C. So in situation A, this one is the level of conflict. I'm sorry if you cannot see. You can refer to your slide. This is level of conflict moving from low to high over here, and then this is the performance moving from low to high up there. So in the situation where level of conflict is still low, okay, research say that in terms of unit performance, it can be low as well, right? It can be low as well. And then situation B is an optional one, means that there are some conflicts happen in the workplace, all right? And then when we turn the conflict into the benefit that we have learned just now, so it can improve the performance, okay? So this one, situation A, low conflict but no performance because people simply don't understand each other. They don't know each other, how to work with each other, right? So this one is a dysfunctional one lah. Okay, this one is this dysfunctional one. So there is no non-responsive to changes, lack of new ideas. Okay, remember that I said kan just now, because when we have conflict, we can stimulate solutions. We can give a lot of ideas. Tapi kalau we just nampak macam harmoni je dekat tempat kerja kan, maybe we don't discuss. I mean, we don't discuss what could be better. It can be people scared to give out ideas as well because they try to maintain the perceived harmony in the workplace. So there is no changes, there is no new ideas, right? And then maybe here is everyone is agree with everybody, right? So yeah, not a lot of improvement, not a lot of innovations happening here. So situation B, this one is a functional one where it's still a healthy conflict. People, we still have manageable conflict, all right? And then people are engaging with this conflict, try to solve the problem, try to find solution, try to understand each other, okay? Try to be flexible towards each other. But when it comes to many conflict, here, high conflict, pandang muka pun gaduh kan, pandang muka sikit pun rasa panas hati. So this one is conflict lah dah. That one is very dysfunctional dah. Okay, it's very dysfunctional. It can be described. Betul lah, masa tu merasa lah tu kan, yang sama ada dipanas hati ataupun panas hati kan. Yeah, okay, we do have because of why actually it has developed from too many conflicts already. Dia bukannya satu hari you tiba-tiba datang, you go to your workplace and suddenly you feel like, oh my god, I really cannot handle these people. No, actually it's a build up. Okay, it's a build up from conflict yang mungkin before this you have never raised up ke, ataupun that person never raised up ke, kan? So yeah, it can be from that. And then maybe it can be because of the judgments, judgmentals. It can be from the story that you have heard, the rumors, the grapevine, and so on. Okay, so level of conflict nak jumpa pun malas. Yeah, kan? Understand, right? Because if it's become a dysfunctional, macam I cakap tadi kan, we have to set standards. We have to clarify our limits. Kenapa kita nak berurusan lagi, ataupun some people like don't become like saja nak provoke lagi kan, saja nak bagi sakit hati. No, okay, it's like very dysfunctional. Don't do that. We spend 8 hours in the workplace, so for these petty things kan, I suggest that we don't have to do it. Okay, we have to be professional. Kerja lah kan. Kalau dah tak boleh nak kerja dengan someone tu, try to set a standard by limiting interaction. But if you are the superior, okay, you have to use what we call as you punya power lah. Okay, you punya formal power. Formal power means that nanti leadership kita akan belajar. Formal power means that you have a leader, okay, you have kita jauh sikit kat topik. You have power to reward and punish, right? So if you are superior, maybe you have to forget about personal relationship ataupun leader member punya relation for a while, so you focus more on the position of power position. Okay, position power. You have to use rewards and punishment, kan, to settle the conflict. Bukan settle the conflict, maksudnya to handle the situation, right? To handle the situation. Okay. So we have three types of conflict. Ini teori sahaja, to help you to identify in a workplace if you encounter a conflict, so you know this is actually referring to which type of conflict. So we have a task conflict. The first one is task conflict. Task conflict means that related to the content and goals of the work. Okay, this one is about your the task. Maybe you want different outcome. Okay, the goal. You want different outcome, and then you want to have a different outcome. It can be in the low level of conflict lah. Okay, for example, when we do this discussion, these people want to have this outcome, these people want to have this outcome. Okay, one of the example that I can give from my experience is, I'm sorry, my experience is too very, teenager things, because I handle teenagers at workplace, students, right? So one of it, I remember that it's an annual dinner. Okay, annual dinner to celebrate students. So when we as an educator, when we do anything, right? When we do anything in the workplace, in the university, our main target ataupun our main goal is for students. Okay, it's not about ourselves. Okay, so for example, if we do annual dinner, you nak bagi students seronok ke ataupun you staff yang seronok? So who's going to benefit more from the annual dinner? Students or staff? Would you be excited because, oh, you can dress up and then you can do this, you can do that? What about if we do this for annual dinner for too grand, and then blah blah blah, jom kita buat dekat hotel ni, kat hotel tu. So you have to know first the goal. Okay, when we do something, when we do any activity, for me it's always student. Okay, for me it's always student. Kita kena tengok dulu dia orang punya capabilities. Nak buat annual dinner jauh-jauh ni, kita ada transport ke untuk dia, kan? We have to take. And then if we do annual dinner dekat hotel mahal-mahal ni, contohnya apa, Four Seasons ke apa ke, kan? Do we have enough budget for that? And then takkan kita nak suruh student into many ratus, kan? They are students. Just because we have to have wonderful annual dinner. No, we have to make sure that student to the main focus, all right? And then acara as well. Acara we have to give them, because we want to celebrate their habis 3 semester throughout the years, all right? So that is the goal lah yang I pernah nampak, kan. We have like a conflicting, biasalah bila when we talk about annual dinner, when we talk about this grand event, kan, of course staff akan rasa macam like very excited. Okay, kan, tak ada masalah, I pun excited. Okay, I pun sangat-sangat excited. It's just that we have to think about students first, and then make sure that they enjoy that night as well. Jangan pilih tema yang mengarut-ngarut, menyusahkan student nanti, kan. Pilih tema yang everybody can wear, everybody can enjoy, as long as we have a place, we have a good food to celebrate together after 3 semester to the end, right? So that one is task conflict, means that in terms of the content and goal of the work, of the task itself, so you have disagreement about how you what kind of output that you want, what kind of outcome ataupun goal, aim and so on. Okay, tapi it doesn't mean if we are fighting about how to do it, that one is process conflict. Okay, process conflict, how to get the works done. Okay, so maybe here it includes structure, right? For structure, and then maybe we take a look at the whole activity, the process, the delegation of work. So dekat sini, some people, okay, in the workplace, one of the many conflicts that can happen is unfair delegation of work. Yang ni asyik orang yang sama saja buat kerja kan, ataupun dia sahaja dapat kerja banyak, yang seorang lagi tak dapat kerja banyak. Okay, so maybe in terms of that conflict. Alright, and then next is relationship conflict. So relationship conflict is focused on the interpersonal relationship. Okay, relationship conflict focus on the interpersonal relationship. So this is where feelings, emotions, respectness, okay, all those kind of thing happen when you don't have respect to each other, and then the way that you talk, it's the way that you approach ataupun okay, senang cerita, this one is involve the way that you treat people lah, okay, interpersonal relationship, the way that you treat ataupun interact with other people. Okay, my boss do it for himself, but yeah, we still enjoy it. Yeah, okay. So some of us, kita macam tu kan, kita rasa macam tak apa, kita buat, kita follow je kan. So tak payah nak create unnecessary conflict, right? Okay, so the loci of conflict, right? To understand conflict is to consider its locus, meaning that where it happens ataupun where the focal point lah. Okay, so diadic conflict means that it's conflict between two people. That's all. I tak suka you, tak suka I benci you, benci I. Okay, so that one is between two people. Maybe you have disagreement, you have some apa budak-budak zaman sekarang cakap kan, you have beef with him or her. So between two people only lah. Alright. Then intra-group conflict, it can be occur within a group or team. Right? Within group or team maksudnya you are in a part of team, so maybe there are some conflict. It is more than two people. Let's say if you are in marketing department and you ada your own group, your team, and then there are some conflict going around, maybe 2-3 people ataupun 2 versus 2, 3 versus 2, 3 versus 2 versus 1. So that one is intra-group conflict lah. Okay, means that you are in the same team, but a lot of disagreement happen. Intergroup conflict means that conflict between groups or team. Okay, so one of the example is if you have, let's say, in one department you have several teams to work on things together. It can be, alright, it can be team yang berlainan department pun, alright. For example, like we have conflict. So can someone, if you comfortable, okay, if you comfortable to share, you are working in which department, and then which department you normally have conflict, ataupun you can give me example, you can give our friends example as well. Intergroup conflict dengan intra-group conflict ni tak apalah dalam team kan, intergroup conflict. So let's say for me, okay, I give example first for you to clearly see. So for me, educators, we have some of it, we have conflict with sama ada a group of auditor ataupun academic regulation. Bukan, I'm not saying about Kak Ayuni Raza, previous experience, right? So we have a little bit conflict between academician ataupun faculty members dengan regulations department. Regulation department maksudnya academic regulation lah. They want this, when they come to audit, kena ada ini, kena ada that, and then when we explain that, oh, this is actually blah blah blah, so that kind of conflict lah. Okay, it's not that gaduh teruk, right? Same, a lot of conflict. HR department dengan siapa? Okay, macam Faizah, HR department dengan siapa? Dengan semua orang? Accounting versus PR department.
No, new HR manager.
HR manager?
Because she is the new one.
Oh, so this one is intra-group, is it? The department versus the manager? Intra?
All the I think all the staff and the new manager.
Yelah, okay. Yes, that one is an example of intra conflict lah. Dia dekat dalam satu department ataupun satu group. Okay, intergroup ni dia different team. Sometimes it can be dalam satu department pun they have a group as well. Okay, yang tu pun boleh dikira sebagai intergroup jugalah. So maybe one group is in favor of this, another one is in favor of that. Okay, they ada their own informal leader. Okay, they ada informal leader. Engineering rollout team and finance team. Okay, so I'm sure that maybe it involves most of this. Okay, most of the intergroup conflict is actually berdatang daripada ni, process conflict. Okay, because some department they don't understand how we work ataupun what is our requirement, what are our needs and so on. Okay, lepas tu sometimes we just hate the process, right? It's very long, time consuming, burdensome, something. Okay, so kebanyakannya kita akan ada masalah proses konflik lah dekat tempat kerja. Okay, relationship conflict ni kalau too many too many informal group. Okay, if we have to form informal group, so it can lead to more relationship conflict because we involve a lot of personal life in it, and then and we create small group small group, number of people, so it can lead to relationship conflict. So if you are a manager, if you are the employer, so take a look at this one seriously lah. Okay, relationship conflict, try to find what is actually happening. Okay, try to find the try to find the root cause of it. Apa yang membuatkan ada perbalahan ataupun divide, all these people are divided in, because in the workplace patutnya kita kena focus on work, and then we have to work together lah kan, theoretically. Sorry, account versus operation kan. Kenapa ni semua orang marah account ni, kesian account, finance, banyak kan account.
Maybe account department always reject their claim.
Ya kan, reject their claim ataupun okay, mungkin lah. Payment department versus recovery department. Payment keep changing their policy without inform other department. Okay, again this one is a process conflict, changing their policy. Changing their policies, but when we it's like a guideline, it's like a rules, so that one is considered as process conflict lah. Okay, nice, thank you so much. Okay, this is the conflict process. Ada 5 stage over here, right? This one I summarize je. Potential opposition ataupun incompatibility. So dia punya condition is in terms of communication structure and personal variables. Okay, maybe in terms of poor communication, the way that ataupun differences in communication, differences in culture, and then in terms of structure, maybe it's not clear, well defined. Maybe you don't know who is the right person, ataupun bukan don't know, it's conflicting, dalam information. Kejap, give me 1 minute. Hold on. Okay, so in a working environment, sometimes changes happen without us realizing it. Before this, maybe another person is handling it, and suddenly it's not anymore, and then we do a little bit like restructuring, and so there are changes in terms of structure, so it's not well defined. Maybe it can lead to conflict as well, right? So again, it will go back to communication lah. Once you change the structure ataupun make a change anywhere, so you have to communicate. You have to always, okay, internal communication. That is, I really like that topic. Okay, internal communication. And then personal variables lah. This one is like I've mentioned just now, our behavior, our attitude, and so on. Okay, cognition and personalization. So we have a perceived conflict and we have felt conflict. Okay, perceived conflict means that it's the way that you notice that it happened. Felt conflict means that you already are in the conflict. Okay? So stage 3 is intention. Okay, conflict handling intention. So we have competing, collaborating, compromising, avoiding, and accommodating. So I want to talk about this for a while. Okay, kat sini dia tak ada kan? There is no, okay, tak apa. Jadi I explain about competing, collaborating, avoiding, accommodating, and compromising. Okay, so here is what we call as the level. Okay, this one in professionally, professionally the level of conflict. Okay, conflict intensity continuum. Canggih kan nama, but actually it means that how bad is the conflict at the workplace, right? So here is no conflict a into a situation where you reach annihilatory conflict, right? So let's take a look at how to identify. So let's say if from no conflict to minor, okay, several conflicts like can be handled. So this one can be just a minor disagreement ataupun misunderstanding. It happens a lot in workplace, right? Sometimes the way that you give instructions as well can lead to misunderstandings, right? Sometimes your facial expression as well can lead to misunderstanding. Okay, and then during meeting you have disagreements because everybody have their points of view, their ideas and so on. So this is just a minor disagreement, right? And then if the conflict get worse, okay, you start to questioning or challenging others, not in a good way, right? Not in a good way, like maybe provoking ataupun start to sabotaging. um, small lah, belum sabotage yang itu sabotage yang dekat sini lah, to destroy, okay. And then when you have a lot of conflict, if the conflict keep on increasing ataupun keeps on happening without finding solution, so this is where verbal attacks happen. Okay, this is where verbal attacks happen. My cousin, she is so young, she just 20 something lah, okay, 20 something. She just joined workplace. But unfortunately, when she joined the company, the superior, the boss lah, the owner of the company, it's just a small company. I tak ingat lah company apa, I tak ingat. I think it's like a law firm kot, I tak sure. Okay, so but the thing is work task semua okay, proses konflik tak ada, tapi dia punya boss, okay, the boss have interpersonal conflict lah, alright, where verbal attacks. So started to use high voice, okay, raise up the voice, use not proper language, okay, vulgar words, so all those kind of things, alright. So for a young people to have like a first job, boleh buat kita rasa macam like very down, right? Like why I choose the wrong company ke apa kan? Because of this. Masuk-masuk je company terus ada level yang quite, ada very high conflict lah kan? Because verbal attacks, and then we have threats and ultimatums. Okay, if you do this, then you lost your job. Say it because I said so. Okay, you have threats, ultimatums, and so on. And then if it's involved physical attacks, so this is illegal already. All right, this become illegal, then should be reported to solve this conflict. And this one is very dysfunctional, so go back to your employment act ataupun employment rules and regulation at the workplace. So make sure that you are not being treated this way, okay, aggressive physical attacks, and then not to give that as well. Sebenarnya physical attacks ni, let's say lah, for me this is my opinion ataupun this is the way that I see physical attack. For me this is for me, it might be wrong, I know. Kalau you dah start baling-baling barang even though that tak kena orang pun, I think that one is considered as physical attacks as well. Maybe masa masa tengah marah you don't you baling kertas dekat orang ke, okay, you, and then those kind of thing, right? For me it's like it is moving towards physical attack. Now you can hentak you punya meja, okay, but next time maybe you hentak benda lain pula. So this one is an aggressive physical attacks due to this kind of conflict. So you have to report it. Don't, make sure that you are not being a victim of this lah, right? I know it's easier to say that kerja senang cari, but you shouldn't be involved ataupun being treated that way, okay, even though I mean, it will affect you later, right, in future. And then part the conflict yang memang tak boleh, it's very high already, is you have effort to destroy the other party. Okay, make him or her terminated ke, ataupun yalah, lose the job, or maybe any kind of like sabotaging, any kind of negative effect. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at, after this kita belajar ni. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Bagi I mana tadi my this one. Okay, so I'm sorry, kejap. Compromising. Okay, so the first one is competing. So the first one is competing. Okay. We do this first, and then I will give you 5 minutes break. Kita dah habiskan ini dulu. As usual lah, I'm going to give you earlier we will discuss earlier, so you can complete your Coursera. Okay, so the first one is what we call as, sorry. The first one is we call as competing. Sorry, sebab I guna mouse I bergerak-gerak. The first one we call as competing. So in competing, meaning that kita tengok kat sini, dia punya several things, right? We take a look at their objective, and then we take a look at their intention. We take a look at the behavior that we do ataupun we show when we are adjusting to this style. Okay, this one is to answer ataupun to portray your intention, the decision to act in a given way when you involve in conflict. Okay. And then maybe you can identify yourself as well. Okay, identify yourself as well. Okay, and then it will lead to action. Okay, so let me just copy this one first. Okay, let me just copy because we have 5 of them. Okay, so the first one is competing. The objective here is to win, right? When in conflict means that you want to win. You don't care. Right? I'm going to win this war. War apa pun tak tahulah kan dekat tempat kerja. I'm just going to win this, right? All of you don't have a chance. So the intention is to perjure as much as they can in terms of their concern, in terms of their interest, okay, without acknowledging other people punya concern ataupun interest. Okay, they don't care about other people's expenses. They just want to pursue as much as they can because the goal is to win, right? I don't care. I tak buka. Win the argument, exactly. Alright, you just want to win the argument. Sama ada win argument ataupun I just going to win whatever that I say. You have to just to follow me. Okay. So next is and then in terms of behavior, okay, when you are competing and then the objective is to win, of course your behavior will be, in terms of cooperation, you will not be cooperative. So you will be uncooperative. You will not be cooperative because you want to make sure that your interest is being taken care of. Right? You don't care about how to resolve the conflict ataupun how to reach an agreement. So you will not become cooperative, and then you will become very assertive. Okay, very assertive, right? aggressive, and then you try to pursue as much as they want. So in terms of action, so this one, when you want to win, you will do almost everything, right? Almost anything. How to almost anything. Tak tahu lah macam mana nak bagi dia terus. Okay, almost anything to win. Whatever power that they have. Okay, let's say if you are a leader, this is actually in favor towards you because you already have the power. Okay, you can use whatever power that seems appropriate to win win one's own position, right? So let's say if you are a leader, you memang dah ada power tu, so yeah, you will win. And then win at the expense of the organization to win macam Israelis. Okay, unnecessary actions exactly. So you will do almost everything. It can be it can be until up to this level. Okay, in terms of threats, ultimatum, you maybe can you started to have verbal attacks, right? In parliament, who's the minister? I forgot the minister. He said what? Raise your improve your argument, not raise your voice, right? So tapi ini terbalik lah, okay? Raise the higher the pitch, the the hypothesis, the higher my pitch, the higher possibility for me to win, for example. Okay, so this one is a competing. If you are if some people are competing, this is the intention. Next is collaborating. Okay, so now it sounds like good already, right? Now sounds like good. We can see that collaborate. I like that word. Means that we try to collaborate. So the objective here is in terms of collaborating. Kenapa dia tak ikut turutan? Dia sepatutnya ikut turutan. Okay, kejap. Let's take a look at this one first. Turutan maksud I bukan turutan apa. Ini just nak show the situation like it gets better. Itu je. Dia bukan proses. This one is not a process. This one is just I just want to show you how it gets better lah handling conflict. Right? So the second one is accommodating. Bukan gets better. This one is macam mana cakap? From the worst one until like still worse, but then after that different style. Okay. Okay, style 2. Okay, accommodating. Okay, accommodating means that it comes from the word accommodate, right? Means that I want to do to make you happy, right? I want to fulfill your things and so on. So the objective is here is you win, right? Anything that can make you happy, right? Lah, you win lah. Okay, I don't want to fight. So if you want, then you win. Okay, I don't want to argue. I don't want to involve in this conflict ataupun to raise apa orang panggil tu give ideas and whatnot. So the intention is not competing. And dia macam terbalik dengan tadi lah. Yang tadi itu. But is it good accommodating? Actually, no. Alright, that's why di nombor 2. Yes, you don't that assertive. Okay, you are not that assertive, and then you don't do whatever you can to win. But again, when you do this, okay, when you accommodate too much, and then not competing, you will seem like you lack of ideas, and then you seems like you don't have your stance, you don't have any initiative, not proactive, right? Kita boleh tolerate, okay, yes, we can tolerate, but the tolerate here is nanti kita tengok yang compromising. Okay, that one is I think better suit for tolerate. Yang ni dia tolerate memang tahap yang getak sikit je, okay, you win. Alright, okay. Let's say macam okay, I want to do this, and then another person said that so as soon as they hear the word, but I think ataupun I have another opinion, then they will say that okay, we follow you, right? So the behavior here is it's unassertive. Okay, kalau nak compare dengan tadi kan, it's unassertive, tapi but they are cooperative. Okay, they can be cooperative. They can be mouse ID. They can be cooperative enough, right? Because why? Because they are still engaged with the conversation, with the disagreement, so on. But they are being cooperative and let the other person win. So the action here, okay, the action if you are in accommodating style. So as sad as it sounds, all right, it can be like you do a lot of sacrifice. Okay, you sacrifice. How to spell? Self-sacrifice, right? And then you become more obedient. Obedient, yes, right? You become obedient, and then you tend to be, you stand down, right? Yeah, okay, you stand down, or whatever that people say, and so on. So yeah, it doesn't mean that it's okay. Maybe so in a workplace, if you portraying this kind of commodity, it seems like you have low self confidence, and that you are not contributing. Right, I'm not saying that when you contribute then you lead to conflict. No, okay. You can give ideas without make it sounds like you are competing ataupun make it sounds like you are arguing. Okay, you can give ideas, but with the ideas you need to have justification lah. You have to justification, and then you have to think through. Okay, one of the thing I think my preferences. If you want to give idea, I am all in for ideas, but make sure that it's at least okay, at least like you have a like a follow through things, mean like a complete one. But kalau bagi idea boleh, tak ada masalah, because we can always develop it, right? But this is your idea. How do you think that you want to move forward? All right. And suddenly, and make sure that your ideas, don't feel afraid that your ideas are you know not usable ke apa ke. But you have to think that this idea, before you raise it up, you have to think it for yourself as well. Is it doable or not? Is it working or not? Is it something that we haven't been discussed before? It is something that we haven't tried before. Or else, if you give the idea that we have tolak before this, it shows that you are not competent, right? It shows that you are not paying attention. You are not thinking, critical thinking, okay, at workplace. But again, this is only theory, okay, theory. When it comes to practical, when it comes to workplace, maybe lah it different, okay. Maybe some ideas, they might not be working last time, but this time, why not we try it, okay. It might be that way. Okay, so that one is accommodating. Next, after accommodating, we have the next step ataupun the next style, which is avoiding. Okay, so avoiding means that kalau tadi you win. Sorry. The first one is I win. The second one is you win. So avoiding means that siapa nak teka the objective is. No one wins. Alright? No one wins. Alright? In terms of avoiding, you avoid the conflict at all costs. Alright? Not to deal with the conflict. To solve problem, kejap lagi. Okay, yang ni dia masih lagi unhealthy. Okay, a little bit unhealthy. So, nobody should win here. Okay, nobody should win. Because of what? Because we should not engage in this conflict. You do you, I do I. You do you, right? And then let me do my things. Okay, so the intention here is to avoid conflict at all costs. Okay, not engaging at all. Okay, yes, run away from problem. Exactly. Okay, I ambil ayat tu, run away from it. Okay, from conflict. nampak konflik, oh dah jauh. Okay, no, I don't want to get engaged. Okay, I don't want to be a part of it. Dalam meeting mungkin dia yang first yang akan keluar pergi buat air ataupun pergi toilet. Mungkin they want to be. Nobody should win, right? Dah letak bagi idea and then not engaging at all. Run away from it. Okay, abandon it, hoping it will solve by itself. Exactly. Okay. So here the behavior, I'm sorry to say that this is, I think, it's very assertive and also, balik pula. Unassertive and also uncooperative. Lagi lah. Okay. Marah betul tu, loser behavior coward type. Okay. So yeah, this is one of the characteristic ataupun personality that we should avoid. Don't be this person. Okay, don't be this person. Kita bukan avoid conflict, we can minimize it. Right? Let's say if macam tadi yang set standards tu, it doesn't mean that we terus avoid conflict, bukan. Okay. It's just that I know, okay, sometimes that we don't want unnecessary drama, we don't want unnecessary conflict ataupun argument, okay. It's just that be present, okay, be present. Yes, conflict at optional, okay, optimal. Be present, and then and another thing that I like to point out, my opinion ataupun my way of doing things. Not everything you should give opinion. Not, kalau misalnya let's say okay, I can say we ataupun I lah, okay, I'm not good at everything. We are not good at everything in the workplace. We doesn't know everything at the workplace. Okay, maybe something, we don't have to say anything. Okay, because of why? Because let's say if you know little things about that and then you try to raise your opinion ataupun ideas ke apa ke, it will seems like first maybe will be perceived by others, nampak macam we are memandai-mandai kan. So try to limit the things that you know that okay, you have good knowledge about this. This is actually your task, okay, because we don't want to have process conflict, right? We can suggest, no worries, okay, we can also suggest by asking question instead of saying you should do this. That one is suggestion. Maybe it will sound like you are teaching people or whatever, and then you can ask question. Okay, have you thought about doing this? Is it working if we do this? Okay, basically the choice of wording lah, balik-balik kan. Okay, the choice of wording. So tapi untuk avoiding ni means that you don't involve at all. Okay, means that if we do this avoiding, means that conflict will never resolve. You will never identify what is the root problem, what is the root cause. Lepas tu the problem, it will not go away. In fact, it will be much worse in future. Okay, so it's quite dangerous lah. So in terms of the action, macam yang I cakap tadi lah kan, it's either you withdraw from the conversation ataupun the discussion, and then maybe you postpone. Okay, you postpone to talk about it, right? Because to avoid, okay, postpone some conflict. Yes, you have to postpone because it seems like it's very tense. Okay, it's very tense. Okay, so everybody, we go back first and then let's meet tomorrow first thing in the morning and then we're going to discuss because it already got tense kan. So the future discussion, a lot of emotions will creeping in and then involved daripada rational. Okay, establish transparent policy, encourage open dialogue, addressing concerns promptly can help prevent conflicts. Yes, okay, very good. Look visible but invisible. Okay, it will get worsen in the future. Okay, so baru yang nombor 4 tadi, okay, collaborating. Okay, so now it sounds so good. Okay, instead of nobody win, so here is why not let's both win. Okay, let's both win. This one is what we call as apa yang paling terkenal lah kan? It's like a win-win situation. You get what you want, I get what I want. Okay, this is where you collaborate. You try to a little bit lah, okay, tolerate. So what you do, okay, the intention here is to find solution. Okay, to find solution. But the keyword here is to satisfy both ataupun satisfy related lah, tak semestinya both, related parties. So the intention here, because kita nak buat win-win situation, right? So we want to satisfy, it's very important in a win-win situation that both parties satisfied. So we can get out from this meeting room happily. Okay, then we can become good friends again. Okay, people, this is the intention. We try to find solution. Then how to do this is we work with each other. Find out more. What do you think about it? You analyze the differences that you have, and then you work. Okay, what can I do to make you win? What you can do to make me win? Right? So this one, nama pun lagi collaborating, right? You work with each other to understand others better. So this one is definitely is a cooperative. Okay, and also assertive lah. Okay, it's a positive one, right? Assertive. Okay. And then some of the actions, if we try to collaborate in terms of conflict, so what we need to do in terms of the action, okay, find out, okay, find, again, okay, you try to find solution, very good, okay, clear goals, open communication, so you try to dig the issue, where the problem is actually located at. What makes this conflict happen at the first place? Okay, you dig the issue, you dig the problem, and then you explore as well. Explore the cause of disagreement at the first place. Okay, and then yes, by doing what? By doing open communication, right? Cakap senang kan? Bila sampai dekat tempat kerja dah hilang dah semua teori-teori ni. Dah hilang dah semua tips-tips ni. Right? Because we have too many emotion, right? Nampak macam senang tapi bila nampak muka tu rasa macam tak layak ni nak open communication. Alright, but again lah, try out. What we have learned in this class is just again theory, just like a tricks, the professional way to do this. Okay, we try lah to apply in the workplace. Okay, we try our best to become the best employee and employer. Right? After all, we are not that perfect, and then again, all this theory cannot be. There are some situation it's not applicable at all. Kan? Maybe the work culture yang dah built 20 years, 30 years. It's by having open communication. Do you think it will work with that kind of culture? No. Okay, there are a lot of works that we need to do first before we need to have open communication. Because let's say if a culture that memang it's well known for, there is no apa orang panggil tu, top down communication dengan bottom up communication kan. Kalau tak ada two-way communication tu, and suddenly you want to have an open communication, it's very difficult. Okay, so again it will go back to culture. We are going to learn culture next week. Okay, organization culture next week. So this one is collaborating, good one, right? So let's try both win. But again, in organization, it's very unlikely to get everything you want. Okay, so the last one is compromising. So under compromising, here objective is let's both win and lose. Okay, so here is what we call as win. This one is this one is not win lose. This one is, if I'm not mistaken, lose. Okay, this one is means that you win some, you lose some. Okay, this one is a compromising. Aku dah lupa lah apa dia punya terms. Ada kot dalam ni, nanti tengok balik Sorry. Kita ada win-win, win-lose and lose-lose. So yeah, compromising. Okay, so here is number you compromise, right? We have to tolerate because we cannot get everything that we want, right? You go into this, maybe this issue, you will get what you want, and then this is where you lose something, and then I get what I want. Okay, so intention here is you try to use each other's stuff, okay, and then you see what works. Okay, you try to understand. Okay, try to use each other methods ataupun ideas and anything lah. So under this behavior is actually this one is a moderate, assertive, and also cooperative lah. Okay, it's cooperative because you want to get solutions. Okay, and then here is what you have to do is try to find what we call as middle ground solution. Maybe we cannot get everything, so we try to find middle ground solution by maybe tolerating, okay, exchanging that what you want to, what you apa orang panggil macam uh, what are the things that you okay lah to lose, to let go a little bit, okay, and then can you give me like for this time, so let me just use my style first, use my idea first, and then let's see how what works and so on. Okay, this one is a compromising in order to handle conflict. Okay. All right, next is we are going to take a look at this one, okay, conflict management technique. Tapi I don't want to, before that, kejap, let me see, dia nak habis ke? Okay, ada negotiation. Okay. Okay, conflict management technique. Oh, sorry. Mana I punya... Hold on. It's gone on. Okay. So conflict management technique, conflict resolution technique. We have learned about the style ataupun the intention, the way that we handle it, right? So maybe we can like do a little bit like a reflection from what I have teach just now. So I will give you like 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes macam lama sangat. 2 minutes. Okay, try to write in the chat box here. All right, based from what we have learned just now. Okay, it's okay, we are learning. All right, like I've mentioned to you, right, you have to identify yourself. So what seems that to be your most dominant style just now? Okay, and then let me know, just like a very short sentence like here. Okay, do you think that how when you do the style, okay, all those accommodating, compromising, and so on. So does it help you, like in favor to you or not? Or if let's say no, so what do you think you want to do in future? And if it's working, then tell me why. Faham tak? I will give an instruction over here, okay? So I give you about 2 to 5 minutes lah to answer here. Okay, let me just type out the instruction. So based on the style that we have learned, yang tadi tu, okay, yang this one. And that we have learned, identify yourself. Kejap I tengah type. Slideshow material yang mana? Yang tadi tu yang Google Drive I. Okay, I will share it to you. Tapi it's very boring lah. It's just like a plain one. But yeah, you can have it. Okay, so this is your task. Bukanlah task, just a discussion lah. Discussion, okay, because hari ni kita buat satu topik sahaja kan, so we can engage a lot of and then because we are all working, so when we discuss like this, so let's say if our friends have a similar conflict ke ataupun similar situation, then we can learn from each other. Okay, so this is my question. Based on the style that we have learned, identify your style and has it works for you? Why? If not, which style you think might work for you in your organization and also why? Let's take a look at the negotiation. Lepas tu I akan ada a few things that I want you to know as well. Okay, in terms of negotiation, like let's say during the conflict, right? So let's take a look at the contrast distributive and integrative bargaining. So negotiation happens when two or more parties exchange goods or service and attempt to agree upon the exchange rate of them. So this one is, let's say, in a sales negotiation, for example. Okay, you try to come up with an agreement, and then you have mutual values that you receive. Okay, so we use terms negotiation and bargaining interchangeably. So kalau dekat sini, my focus here, this one you can read. Okay, my focus here is to mana tak ada dalam ni. Gender. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Okay, a mediator, an arbitrator, and conciliator. The functions of third party in negotiation. So when individual ataupun group representative reach a stalemate, maksudnya macam dah tak tahu nak pergi mana, okay, and then are unable to resolve their differences through direct negotiation, so they might turn to a third party where we call as mediator, arbitrator ataupun conciliator. Right, nampak macam sama tapi ada a little bit differences lah. So a mediator, arbitrator, conciliator ni, the first one kita tengok mediator. Okay, we take a look at mediator. So for mediator, okay, what I can say about mediator is macam mana this one I buat kat sini lah. Maybe we do table. Okay, mediator. Okay, and then let's add table. Row. Sekejap I tengah. Let's see, macam tu conciliator. And then the row. Okay. So let's take a look at their role. Boleh nampak ke? Okay. Let's take a look at their role. For mediator is actually they act like a what we call as neutral third party. Okay, they are neutral third party. When what they do is mostly like they try to facilitate communication. They become a third party and hear both sides. Okay, they can hear both sides and engage with you to talk. Alright, a mediator lah kan orang tengah and negotiate okay between the conflicting party. Tapi for mediator, they don't impose decision. They just encourage you to talk, to negotiate, right? To find a settlement. This is mediator lah. They don't impose decision, but they try to find a mutually acceptable solution lah. So let's say in a workplace, one example, let's say if there is a disagreement between two departments, tadi kan accounting dengan accounting apa tadi? Project. So a trained human resource mediator might facilitate the discussion. Let's say like the conflict is too bad already, and then you need to have the help of third party. So there will be like a HR, a trained one mediator to facilitate the discussion, and then to help both sides to reach a compromise. Okay, and next is arbitrator. So dia punya arbitrator ni is they listen to both sides. Okay, they listen and then they make a listen. Lepas tu they make decision. Okay, so this is arbitrator lah. They try to listen and then they make a final like a decision to resolve the conflict. Okay, so normally for arbitrator, for example, your leaders ataupun your team leaders, your team manager. So let's say in a workplace, so they have a formal power to impose any kind of decision, to give instructions and so on, right? Between let's say if employee and employer, kalau ada masalah ni, also okay for HR to review back the rules and regulation ataupun the policy ataupun contract, and then they will make a decision, right? And this decision normally it's like a legally bound lah. You have to accept kalau masalah kerja kan, employee dengan employer. So let's say kalau dekat in the department, you have to follow lah, since like the boss kan, macam your friend said kan, sometimes you have just to do what boss said. Okay, they can become a arbitrator. For conciliator. Okay, conciliator pula, dia lebih kepada restoring relationship. Okay, what they try to do is they try to conciliate kan, berbaik semula kan. They try to repair the relationship lah. Okay, relationship. They try to find better work or work culture ataupun work situation that might be working for both parties ataupun any kind of parties related. So what they do is they can give solution. Okay, they give so here is they gives advices. Give advices, okay, maybe ideas, possible solution. Possible solution, and then again they try to assist in communication to reduce tension. Samalah dengan ini, they try to facilitate, macam trainer lah kan. Okay, so conciliator can be a trainer. So example in the workplace, if let's say ada disagreement between executive ke ataupun two bosses ke, and then they have like a different goals, different aims, all right, and then they wanted to do their own ideas, things and so on. So a skilled conciliator maybe can facilitate the discussion, and then again this one is to make people compromise lah. Okay, compromise. Sama lah, semua pun kan try to compromise. This is the third party mediator, arbitrator and conciliator. Alright, so next is I'm going to share with you some of the, bukanlah tips tapi it's not like tips, but this is more like what we call technique lah. Okay, technique. Just now kalau you nampak dekat sini, this one is, you guys can read no problem, dekat sini pun ada contoh. Okay, there is a lot of example here. Conflict management technique. Okay, conflict management technique. But I want to share with you something that I know so the first thing is what we can do. Let's say this is just information for you lah. This one is, let's say, a conflict prevention approach, for example. Okay, so under conflict prevention approach ni, we have several things lah that we So what we call as implement. Apa cukup space ke tak? Okay. This is what we call as implement. Okay, conflict prevention approach. Okay, so the first one is in semua boleh dengar kan? Senyap je semua orang ni. Okay. So in terms of implement, this one is conflict prevention. What you can do is, the first thing is you try to initiate openness. Kan? Yes, try to initiate openness, try to understand people better, try to have a good communication, right? And then after that, let's say macam yang cakap tadi, we have to mediate if we need. If needed lah. Okay, if needed. Sebelum masalah menjadi makin teruk, so maybe we can appoint like a third party and then we have to discuss about it, okay, before it became a huge conflict and so on, right? And then plan. You have to plan. You have to plan so that when you discuss before conflict happens, try to plan first and then try to make everybody involved together, all right? Plan ahead and then also during the planning session as well, you have to identify all the decision that is tough to make during the planning process, so that during the implementation process, maybe less conflict will happen because we just have to follow the plan. Okay, L is again listen. You have to listen. Okay, you have to listen attentively to other people's need, and then not just by hearing, but try to understand, try to put a little bit like try to understand where is this idea came from, where is this emotion comes from. Okay, try to listen, not just the message, but try to listen for feelings as well. Okay, and then with listen, so you will have empathy. Okay, so if you have empathy, it can prevent conflict lah, at the first place when you have empathy. But it is all go back to try to understand people's behavior, try to understand people emotion and so on. M is to minimize. Okay, try to minimize what we call as noise and distractions. I sampai sudah tak tahu nak buat macam mana nak bagi dia distractions. Okay, try to minimize noise and distraction. So this is actually a barrier of communication. Contohnya ialah cultural differences, maybe it can be like physical noise, it can be emotional noise. So when you try to, when you go to work, try to minimize your emotional, what happened at home, maybe don't bring it to workplace, what happened to workplace don't bring it at home, and so on lah. Okay, try to minimize the emotional noise. Banyak lagi, all the communication barriers. Look up communication barriers. Those things can make communication is ineffective. So try to reduce that in working organization lah. Next is another E, which is what we call as encourage. Okay, encourage. What we need to encourage? Solutions. Participate. Okay, participation, solution, and so on. All right, participation by collaborate just now. Okay, N is never never assume. Okay, assumption is very bad, right? Instead of have an assumptions, then you should ask. Okay, never assume almost everything. Okay, and also never assume that we know everything, we are right at almost everything. Walaupun girls always right. Okay, but in the workplace, we cannot do that. Okay, we are never right every time. Okay, sometimes we are wrong as well. So never assume that we know everything. Okay, and then last one is take time. Okay, take time, because in order for this conflict to minimize, for you to understand each other, so it will take time. Take time to know each other. Take time to make it happen. Take time to rebuild the culture that is healthy in the workplace. Okay, nanti I cantikkan dulu lah. Kesian nak bagi slide macam ni. Okay, next is what we call as what we call as, after we have conflict prevention approach, so we have what we call as conflict mitigation. Okay, mitigate. We try to, before it come worse, right? So this one is, maybe it can happen during the conflict is small. Okay, masa tu tak teruk lagi. Just like a mitigation approach. Okay. So S stands for solve before it get worse. Macam yang kita belajar tadi kan? Don't, if let's say if everyone is avoidant, you don't solve it. You try to postpone it. Okay, so before it get worse, you try to solve it. Okay, in order for us to make the conflict still at bearable level lah. Okay, lepas tu, sorry, apa ni? M is for make the so you have to involve, okay, diversity of views, right? Make the participation, engage with other people, make sure that every views is taken care of, you understand, and so on. Okay, and then A is avoid. So focus one by one, all right? Avoid mixing issues. You have to focus one by one. And then don't drag ataupun don't divert ataupun don't include other people yang tak ada kena-mengena, okay? Unrelated individuals in your issue ataupun conflict, right? You have to identify first what are the issue, okay, what are the problems, and then you have to identify who are the parties involved. Okay, so avoid missing issues and individuals. Yang tak terlibat pun nanti terlibat, kan? So we don't want it to make it too big, right? We try to mitigate the problem, involve the individuals that is relevant. Okay, so ulang balik, look for solutions. Okay, one thing about conflict, when you give a feedback ataupun to involve in conflict, do not focus on the flaws, do not dwell on the past. The past happened, okay, yes, we fight, disagreement happen and so on, so you have to move forward, which is look for solution. Try to find something that works for both of us, okay, compromise, macam tadi kan, compromise, collaborate, to make sure that you look for solution rather than do not look for flaws. Okay, so this one, limit the time. Okay, limit the time meaning that some problem ataupun some issue, if you make it like you need to have a definite period. Okay, by hook or by crook, we have to settle by today. Okay, I don't want, so that we can move forward. So you limit the time. If cannot find it, then again use third party lah. You use third party ataupun you use relevant power, relevant punishment or rewards and so on. Okay, ataupun use policy, use rules and regulation. Tengok balik all the employees handbook, policy, procedures, what are the process, and then maybe you can set standards, set new rules if needed and so on. Okay. All right, so lastly is to resolve conflict. Okay, lastly is to resolve conflict. Conflict basically sama aja dekat ada dalam this slide, this one. Okay, conflict resolution technique. So this one is conflict, what we call as resolution approach. So it comes from word resolve. Okay, it comes from the word resolve. So R is to remember. To remember. Okay, remember what? Remember the goal. Okay, the solution, what you want to find out. So if you remember what are your goals, what are the objective, instead of having a lot of conflict, so let's resolve this. Okay, just go back to our goal, and then it will make you feel for a while. Okay, you make feel everybody is calm, and then instead of focusing on your own interests and your own nak menang, okay, on your own battles and so on, so just go back and remember the goals. Yeah, focus on the objective, exactly. Okay, so E is again you establish standards. Macam yang saya kata tadi, you have to establish standards. So okay, now that you know, okay, this team, wow, very time bomb. This team tak boleh, seorang cakap je, poof, gaduh. So you have to set established standards. So whenever you want to discuss about this, add me in. For example, as a leader, okay, as a leader, maybe you can call me in whenever you want to talk about this. So one of the new procedure now is I have to be in this meeting, right? I have to be in this meeting. Ataupun in this discussion, there might be like someone who watch over ataupun to listen, and then to become a third party to listen. Okay, that is one of the example. So any kind of standards, any kind of limits that is appropriate for your discussion. Okay, for those yang nampak macam if you are a leader, and then you can see that your subordinates are fighting over the same thing all over again. So maybe you need to be present to listen, okay, to understand better. Okay, establish standards. And then S is start with, this is one like a passive aggressive lah. Okay, so you have to start with compliments. Tapi kalau dah marah kan susah kan start with compliments kan, mana ada masa nak compliment lagi, hati tengah panas ni. Okay, but again, okay, say that, okay, how about this? When we want to resolve a conflict, we have done this before. Okay, look at what we have done this before. We have worked so much, so better before this. We have a lot of events that we have worked together and it has been successful before. So you start with the compliments, try to boost, try to remember that why you are good working together, what you have accomplished before this. And then maybe you can start with compliments and say that, I understand that you are very, apa orang panggil tu, very apa yang kita panggil ayat tu, very excited, like very good about your job, feels very excited about your job. Okay, and then I understand that you try to do so much things for everybody. Okay, try lah apa-apa lah compliment yang you can think of. You know your work colleague better. Okay, and for me, I always say that, let's say if a person is too strict, lagi-lagi dalam lecturer kan, lecturer you can find, right? Some lecturers are very lenient, some lecturers are very strict, and a lot of rules and regulation. So maybe not sure, but during your previous studies, but again, I will always say this, okay, for those who are strict and so on, they know what they do. Okay, they are very good at those things in their that's their expert, that's their apa orang panggil makanan dia lah kan. So maybe because they know that the things so much, so they try to make you understand that better ke, ataupun right, they have the knowledge. But again kalau strict tak bertempat pun, I'm not that agree as well lah. But I always start with the compliment, but she is good at what she do, he is very good at what he did, that kind of compliment, right? Passion, yes. Thank you, Laila. That's the word that I'm looking for. You are very passionate about your work. Thank you so much, Laila. Okay, O is offer help, offer guidance, right? When you remember the goal, if you know that you are good at this, why people are not listening to me? So instead of asking people to listen to you, you offer help, okay? You offer guidance. But again, macam saya cakap tadi, in order for you to offer help and guidance, make sure that you have a follow through ideas. Jangan sekerat-sekerat nanti orang pun marah kan. Tadi macam nak tolong, but then bila kita tanya, so what now? Oh, I haven't think. So it doesn't seem like professional things to do lah, okay? Make sure that you have a good implementation process lah, so that when people are relying on your own guidance and so on, especially if you are a leader, kan? If you are a leader, people want so apa ni, there is a culture ataupun there is a perceptions where you are the leader, you should know better, you are the one who provide the instructions, you should know how to guide us, okay, guide us through the process and so on. And then L, okay, look for, okay, try to compromise lah, look for middle ground, look for solution ataupun look for a neutral neutral conversation. Okay. And then V, I pun tak tahu lah mana datang perkataan ini, okay, so it's like a veer away from, okay, for example, avoid doing this because if you remember just now, threats ataupun punishment yang bukan punishment, contohnya lah kan, punishment ni it can be warning letter pun it's so called like can be perceived as punishment. Panggil masuk bilik bos pun dikira sebagai punishment kan, some people. So but again, this punishment means that a really bad one ataupun yang ada threats, okay, that can make people, can affect their moral ataupun their mental, and you impose fear dekat dalam tempat kerja of being observed, of being under intense scrutiny, for example kan, rasa macam diperhatikan setiap masa kan, rasa macam apa ni, ada saka ke kan dekat kita, rasa macam diperhatikan je. So not that kind of thing lah. Okay, fine, as a leader we need to be observant, we need to be aware of what our employees are doing. I remember my boss used to say that I know what is everybody doing. Okay, nampak macam dia tak nampak macam dia happy macam tu kan, but actually dia tahu kan what is actually happening, who's have beef with who, and then who's is difficult, and then who is show much avoidant ataupun accommodate and so on. Okay, so good bosses ataupun good leaders, they can identify all this, okay, by being observant and so on. And so try to avoid using threats ataupun punishment, because if you do that, again, when we take a look at the leader and member relations, if you put a lot of threats in your leadership style, so instead of increase motivation, you can make employee work in fear. And then when they work in fear, is actually in terms of research shows that when you are in fear, it will lead to less productivity and then less innovation. They cannot be creative because they are scared to voice out and so on. Okay. Next, lastly, okay, before we end our class, lastly is again engage with constructive feedback ataupun criticism. Ini je, criticism. You have to, okay, we have to involve criticism. Normally when I receive a constructive criticism, I diam je lah kan, senyum je lah. So you have to engage with, lepas tu nanti balik tu baru fikir kan, masa tengah drive, I don't know about you, but I think driving help me to think a lot. Okay, sometimes yang kita dah rasa macam dah lupa to make decision kan, while driving, it really make me think a lot. So engage with constructive criticism, alright. Macam the first thing, I remember that this one, okay, I remember that we are not right. We are not right every time. Okay, so never assume that we are right every time. So sometimes maybe there are some parts that we didn't aware of. Okay, so be open, right? Be open with constructive criticism. But it doesn't mean that apa orang kritik you masuk and then it will make you feel down. Okay, so again, practice emotional intelligence. take whatever necessary for you, takes whatever that is constructive, that can help you excel in your work. And then for those that you know yourself better, okay, you are not but you are not others, how others perceive you, okay, whatever that you, and then you can control what you do, so you cannot control what other people think of you. So yeah, all right. Okay, so that's basically everything about conflict. You guys can read here conflict resolution techniques. I have opened your okay. So I just wrap this up first. Okay. Conflict. All right. The rest, this one you can read. Don't forget to answer week 4 in Coursera. Same topic, conflict. For those who have finished it, thank you so much. Right, so that's all for our class today. Thank you.